Hey there, I'm the Mad Catster, and my glad to see you here. We have some big news on the lawsuit front for the Ace family. Catherine McBroom's lawsuit that was against her cosmetics company has entered a judgment, and we will get into that in just a second, so let's go. You probably remember we talked about in one of my previous videos that Catherine McBroom's cosmetic company 1212 Gateway was being sued by a company called 360 Sourcing Group. That's a company that made packaging for her company, for her cosmetics business, and apparently they had not paid the bill as usual. And so 360 Sourcing Group had filed suit against Catherine McBroom's company in order to recover the money that they were owed. Now what's happened, and some people have inaccurately reported it as a loss, as they lost the lawsuit. It's technically not correct. What happened was, because of the application for default, the parties got together and decided to do a stipulation for entry of judgment, which is a little bit different than actually just losing or defaulting on the lawsuit. So what they did was Catherine's 1212 Gateways agreed to pay the money that they owed to 360 Sourcing Group in installments. And as a result of that, the lawsuit will be considered wrapped up. And once the payments are made in full, 360 Sourcing Group has indicated that they will dismiss the case with prejudice. So it'll be as if the case was never brought. So it's a settlement is what it is. It's not really a loss. So they've agreed to pay this money. And interestingly, and you'll see here, I'll show you on the document itself. And by the way, Sybil's here with me, and Cedric is sitting right here on the desk in front of me. But so the parties have stipulated as follows. They're saying that they agree that 1212 Gateway, Catherine McBroom's company, owes 360 Sourcing Group $763,011.46. Once it's paid, and you'll see here it says in installments as set forth below, once the judgment is satisfied, the defendant will have no further obligation to the plaintiff. And it further goes on to say down below that if this is paid as promised in the stipulation, the lawsuit will be dismissed with prejudice, and there won't be a loss on the record of Catherine McBroom's company, because it will show that the lawsuit was just dismissed. So it's basically was never prosecuted. It's also interesting to note here something that's a little unusual for judgment that's by default. And again, this is not traditional, like it's not the court saying you get default judgment. It's the parties agreeing to a default judgment or entry of a judgment. They're saying that each party, and you'll see here, it says each party is to bear its own costs and attorney's fees, which is interesting because usually if you lose a lawsuit, oftentimes the winning party will ask the court to assess court costs like filing fees, etc., and also their attorney's fees on the losing party. Well, in this instance, 360 Sourcing Group, quite generously actually, I think, has agreed to have the parties bear their own costs, which means Catherine's company pays all their own lawyer fees and all their costs, and 360 pays its own lawyer's fees and its own costs. What that means is Catherine's going to save a chunk of money because her company is now not responsible for attorney's fees in this instance. Interest should begin accruing immediately as soon as the judgment's entered. The court hasn't actually signed off on the agreement, and I think that's going to throw into question the schedule they set for these installments, because now they're actually behind on the installments. And I think it's strange because the agreement just got entered on January 27th with the court. So I don't know why they didn't go back and rewrite the terms, but clearly they are not in compliance with the agreement at this time if you follow exactly what the agreement says. But because it wasn't filed until January 27th, my guess is there's going to be some leeway as to when the dates those payments actually get made. What I also found strange in this agreement is, and often this is true, you don't usually file a settlement agreement with the court. It usually remains confidential. And in fact, in this settle agreement, strangely enough, they've built in the paragraph that says that it is confidential and the terms cannot be disclosed by the parties. Well, that's kind of bizarre because they've gone and filed the settlement agreement with the court, so it's on public record now. Everybody can see the terms of the judgment. So I don't know who wrote this, but slap on the wrist because it's a kind of a sloppy agreement. But anyway, so that's the deal. Catherine's on the hook for the money. And I took a look, and it's weird because the agreement was signed by a guy named Ian Rice, who's the chief executive officer of 1212 Gateway. It's not signed by Catherine. So I took a look at, I have the incorporation paper here I'll put up for California where Catherine's listed as a member, which means basically she's a partner or an owner of the LLC. But what's interesting is on their LinkedIn page, 1212 Gateway, they do make mention of Catherine in some of the posts, but she's not mentioned like as part of the management team or employees or the people running the business. And you'll see here they've got a chief science officer, they've got Ian Rice, the guy who signed the agreement, the judgment agreement, the chief executive officer, they've got Phil Engfer, who's the COO. And what I found was really bizarre, and well, not I take that back. It's not bizarre. I found it to be a little eyebrow raising, was that on staff at the company, they have a certified astrologist. What that's got to do with making beauty products is beyond me. But you'll also note here, 1212 Gateway has recently announced that they are going to begin accepting cryptocurrency. So you can pay now apparently on their website with cryptocurrency. I also found it interesting. I looked and, they have like missions. Every company has like a mission statement. And in their mission statement, because I always wonder like, what the heck is 1212 Gateway? What is that? It's like such a bizarre name for a cosmetic company. And it's explained here. It says, the 1212 Gateway is a period of time otherwise known as an energy portal. Like what? Like on Star Trek? I don't know. Where your energy is able to vibrate higher and accept positive change. Whatever that means, your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue what that's supposed to mean. But anyway, that is the latest. So Catherine's company is on the hook for the money they owed their packaging company. And that's one more lawsuit that has not gone in the McBroom's favor. It's not exactly a loss because, as I said, they agreed to entry of judgment. But it is a loss in terms of they are liable for the money that this company said they owed them. We'll see what happens with the rest of them. Like I told you in the last update, a couple of the other lawsuits still have case management conferences to come, but they're down the road a ways, and we'll keep you posted on that. Other than that, I hope you had a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining me. Sybil says thank you for joining us. Please hit the like. Please subscribe. 75% of you aren't subscribed. Please subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.